So at this point, it's safe to say that Disney really doesn't care about black characters. They just care that the character is black. And it's evident from the newest Disney IP, Ironheart. Which, if you guys don't know who Ironheart is, she appeared in Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, for about 2 seconds. This is obviously doomed to fail. Nobody knows who Ironheart is, and she is seemingly replacing one of the biggest characters that the MCU has ever seen, Iron Man. And apparently they're making a point to tell us that she's not really replacing Iron Man.
A lot of people think that she's a successor to the Iron Man legacy. But in the comic book, Riri and Tony had a friendship. He was kind of advising her, and eventually she got her own identity.
The story of Ironheart is not a story about the mantle of Iron Man getting passed.
But she really doesn't have anything to do with him either. And I think there's a way to make this work, but I'll go over that at the end of the video. But for now, let me just talk to you about the disaster that is probably going to be Ironheart. So the Ironheart trailer dropped about 2 days ago at the time of me recording this video. It was not well received, and it seems like Disney kind of wants to bury this because they released it the same time as the Superman trailer. And they either did that because they wanted the focus to be more on Superman, or they did that because they thought it would be cool to compete with that. Either way, it kind of bombed. There's a lot of things wrong with this trailer, one of them being that right away when we see her, there is no mention of Iron Man. And to me, that is one of the biggest sins that this movie does. You cannot have a person that is getting scraps from Iron Man to become essentially what is another version of Iron Man and not even mention Iron Man. To me, that's just one of the biggest problems. Besides that, it seems like they didn't really write anything into this character emotionally. It doesn't seem like she has a drive. It doesn't seem like we get to really know who she is. It just seems like she's black and she's a woman, so we're done. That's all we have to do. We did our part. We're good people. Like, it's all about just appearing to be good with Disney and not actually being good, not actually caring about characters. I understand wanting more female black characters because there is not a lot of them, but if you're gonna do it, you have to do it right, and this is not the right way. I don't even think that making the Black Panther a woman after Chadwick Boseman's death was a good idea either, but I think it's a better idea than this. You know what I mean? The main problem that Marvel has with making black characters is that they always make the black characters after the white characters. So the black people end up getting the sloppy seconds instead of just diving into obscure characters or new characters that we haven't seen yet. So, like with Captain America, we have Sam Wilson taking on the mantle of Captain America after the white dude does it, Chris Evans, right? Or, Steve Rogers, whatever. It's always like that, right? And that seldom works. The only time that it has worked is with Miles Morales. Shout out to Miles. And there is something very specific that he did as to why that worked. And I'll go over that in a second. But it's always after the white person. The reason why Black Panther was such a big success, and I don't think Marvel has realized this, but the reason why Black Panther was such a big success is because it was its own thing. It wasn't just a character that they made black as a second thought after because black people were whining that they didn't get the character that they wanted. I don't have a problem with white characters. I don't. And quite frankly, I think that if there is an Iron Man already, and black women can get inspired by that, and they don't necessarily need to see Ironheart to feel like they can be an Iron Man too. That's a myth. There's a myth that you have to see yourself on the screen as something in order to become it. Like, I have to see another black director directing in order for me to think that I can be a director, which is just not true. That actually goes against innovation. That goes against creativity and thinking outside the box. If you see someone who doesn't look like you and you're like, well, there's no way I can do it, that's a problem within you. That's not a problem with society. That is a personal problem. Black people should be able to see white people and be like, I can do that too. Period, point blank. I don't know where the confusion is, right? So yeah, the reason that Black Panther worked is because it was his own original character. We didn't need he was good because he was a good character and he had a lot of depth to him, and that's why he worked. If Marvel wants to do that, they should do it with characters that haven't been white already. I don't like it. It doesn't. I don't understand it. So the reason Miles Morales worked as a character is, one, he was a different character. Sometimes they make alternate universe. That is even worse than just making it the new character taking up the mantle. But Miles Morales was his own person. And very importantly, he does not, nowhere in the movie is he, like, dissing Spider-Man. Does he talk down to Peter Parker, the original Spider-Man? And in fact, he is mentored by him. That is the part that Disney is missing. Yes, with Captain America, Sam Wilson was kind of mentored by him, but he just became like a lamer version of him. And he has his own different problems. But with Ironheart, to not even mention Iron Man, to not have a shot of Iron Man where she is looking up to him in awe, the person that inspired her to be who she is crazy. If they just did that, it would make this 10 times better. They need to do that with movies. You have to have the character who's coming up next, and they swear on their mother's graves that she's not going to take Iron Man's spot. She's not going to take Iron Man's spot. Okay, but she's still within the universe, and that is still who inspired her costume. So you have to mention, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man in some way. Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man is so important because he's the very first Avenger that we see, technically, right? And he kicked off the whole universe. Iron Man 1 is the first movie in the Marvel saga. So it's a very important character, and you can't just have, like, Ironheart, like, come in and just be like, not even mention Tony Stark. That's absolutely crazy. And there's so many other people too that are mentored. Like, we have Spider-Man being mentored by Tony Stark already. We have his daughter now. We have that one kid that was at the funeral who everybody thought was going to take up his mantle. I think Harley was his name or something. We have that kid. Like, there's so many people that can take up Iron Man's mantle, and the one that's going to take it up is Riri Williams, the one who he's never spoke to ever, who has the least motivation to become Iron Man. So at the beginning, I said there's a way that they could make this work, and here's my proposal for Disney for how this can work and be better, in the future, or how if you want to make a movie, or just my advice to studios that they probably won't listen to because this video is going to get like 5 views, but this is my retelling of what should have happened. So anyway, there was a series called Armor Wars that was going to come out on Disney Plus. I don't know if it is. I don't care to look, but there's an Armor Wars series, and it was going to be with War Machine and Ironheart, and it was going to be after the events of, Endgame. I think that is a good place to start. I think if they want to introduce Riri Williams as a character, there's already an opening for a black person with War Machine. War Machine already is a black Iron Man. Great. Why can't Riri Williams be like his nephew or something? And then you can make a tragic backstory as to why her parents died or something, but why can't she be like one of those fangirls who the whole reason why she wanted to go to MIT is because she saw her uncle, the War Machine, fighting alongside Iron Man, and she always looked up to both of them. Why can't they make something like that? And so now something happens to her parents or whatever, she has to stay with War Machine, and now there's just, now she has a way to reach some tech that Iron Man had. Maybe Iron Man left behind like a new suit for War Machine, and now she can come and, steal it from him. And because she's been so obsessed with them and she wants to be part of the Avengers, and she looks up to Iron Man and she looks up to her uncle who is War Machine, right? Oh, there's a way that they could slip her in. It doesn't have to be the same as the comics. Like, they could mix stuff up and make it make more sense. So starting with Armor Wars and introducing that character through Don Cheadle, like Don Cheadle's War Machine, is, I think, a brilliant idea. Where is War Machine at? Where has he been? Is he gonna come and stop her when he sees, like, that she's doing all this stuff? I don't know, bro. It's just so weird to me. The last thing I want to talk about is just the look of the suit. Dude, I mean, if they're going for like a Mach 1, Mach 2 thing and like she's just getting started now, I guess it's okay, but it's too big and bulky and it looks fucking dumb, bro. Like, who is gonna aspire to wear that suit? Like, the sleek, skin tight kind of Iron Man suit always looked better. Even a War Machine, a little bit bulkier in places, even that looks so much better than this like Gundam looking thing. I don't know, it's so weird. Anyway, this movie is doomed to fail. I feel bad for everybody involved with this, Ryan Coogler and everything, but if somebody had any sense, they would know that this is going to flop and it's going to be as bad as She-Hulk probably, and everybody is going to be making fun of this forever. So, in conclusion, I hope I made the argument. Marvel does not care about black characters. They only care that the character is black. Thank you guys for watching so much. My name is Dave Blacks. Comment down below to help me with the algorithm, and, you know, if you stayed this long and you listened to me ramble this long, that means you're an absolute crazy person, and I have no hope for you. You can't. I don't even know if you should be integrated into society for listening to me for, like, what has this been? Like 10 minutes? That's crazy, dude. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.